So Kara Swisher and Professor Scott Galloway, I guess they have a podcast together. And this guy he's going to issue a dire warning on where we actually are right now, which is something that the media seems to be largely missing. Very few people are correctly discussing just how high the stakes are and what we're currently witnessing. When you have somebody like Elon Musk illegally hack into the Treasury and start deleting agencies that he doesn't like, that's a coup. That's a coup. Congress has the power of the purse, which means the House passes something, the Senate passes it, the president signs it, and that's it. You can't have somebody get in. You can't have some pilled up 19-year-old groiper on the back end say, I don't like that, I'm going to delete it. You can't have these people getting into our nuclear secrets in the energy department. This is what they're doing. They have a private server where they're jacking everybody's information, social security number, bank account information, etc. None of this is legal. None of this is constitutional, and it's obviously so. So here we go. They're going to warn us about what's going on.
I want to know who are these young, highly intelligent, highly motivated zealots following him into these buildings and shutting off payments.
By the way, I have a slight disagreement with him here. Actually, it's not a slight disagreement. It's a big disagreement. They're not highly intelligent. It's a myth. Oh my God, everybody who's involved in tech or involved in coding, they have mega high IQs. This is all bullshit. This is all nonsense. There are still people who think Elon Musk is some sort of mega genius. Right? Are you kidding me? There's never been a bigger fraud that I've ever seen in my life. Who would even bother? You're the richest man in the world. Who would even bother to tell a lie about being one of the best video game players in the world for a specific game, and then it gets exposed like immediately when you play once on a stream? Right? Who would even do that? A sad, petty fraud would do that.
I want to know their names.
Well, the local officials are trying to make that official. The newly installed Trump are threatening people for naming their names, just so you know. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, but they can unmask CIA officers who put their lives in harm's way to try and keep our Americans safe. I want to know who their names are. I want to see Democratic governors saying, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to use the full faith and to the letter of the law to put you folks in prison. I think what you're doing is trespassing. I think this is a coup. And be clear, just because the new insurrectionist who was elected, I don't believe this is legal. And I'm going to hold the people accountable who are trespassing and part of a coup accountable. To just sit back and say this is horrible and this is unlawful, we need to go gangster here.
He's right. The rhetoric doesn't match the gravity of the moment. That's the bottom line, right? So you do have plenty of Democrats who are saying the right thing. Ayanna Pressley and AOC and Maxwell Frost. A lot of them are saying the right things. I think Bernie and Warren they're saying the right things. And they're way out ahead of the Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries and the clown show of leadership, right? But at the same time, yeah, this is what I said. If George Soros got into the Treasury and illegally hacked it on the back end, how quick would a SWAT team be deployed? How quickly would he be dragged out of there in handcuffs? But that's not what's happened with Elon, and I need people to understand that's unacceptable. That's what we needed to happen to make clear, no. This is not a thing. This isn't what you're doing here is not a thing. You're not an actual government agency. Even if the president tells you, yeah, I'm letting you go into the Treasury and hack in and do all your stuff, still illegal, doesn't matter. He has no authority to say that or do that. The Constitution is super clear, right? And unfortunately, thank God you have 6, 7 lawsuits now been filed. But at the same time, these people are, at least in some respects, ignoring the court. Well, what do you do in that scenario? Constitutional crisis is not a strong enough term. It's a coup. This is a coup.
We are not negotiating around this stuff. This is illegal. This is a coup. This is the unlawful seizure of power. We are not going to engage in these bullshit, ridiculous arguments over, Gaza and Greenland. We are going to hold the people accountable. Here are their names. Here are their faces.
I have a disagreement with him here. And I've heard this argument a lot. Everything is a distraction from what Elon is doing. I don't think that's true. I think it's all part of the same project. And the warmongering and threats of imperialism with Greenland, Denmark, Mexico, Gaza, Iran, Venezuela, even Canada, where he keeps saying, with the 51st state, you're going to be the 51st state. All of that, it's all part of the same project. It's all part of the same ideology. And they want to create an American technate, which is basically a greater America. And that encapsulates a lot of countries that they have no reason, to want to be with us. It's 6% of the people in Greenland say they want to be American? This is crazy. We're in Cuckooville. And so all of that needs to be front and center. There's not a single issue where I would sacrifice putting it front and center. It's a full court press on every single issue without giving an inch. Nothing is a distraction. Everything is tied together. From their anti-trans crackdown to their anti-immigrant crackdown to Elon illegally seizing the treasury and deleting agencies that he wants to delete, to Donald Trump threatening 1800-style imperialism. All of that is part of the same project, and all of that deserves a full court press.
And we have contacted the local authorities in where these kids live, these young adults, and we are going to hold them accountable.
And the question is, a lot of them are like, what do we do? They're literally asking me, what do we do to stop him? I was like, I just don't. I was like, you actually don't have the means to do so, because these poor people are in these agencies. And when these idiots come in, these children, these arrogant little pricks come in and say, we're going to call the federal marshals, or the president has ordered you to step aside, they kind of have to.
No, I disagree with that too. So you saw, what's his name? David LeBrick, I think his name is. He was a Treasury Department bureaucrat since 1989. There's only like a handful of people that have access to the full Treasury payment system. And he was the acting Treasury Secretary at the beginning of Trump's term. And Elon went in there and demanded access to the Treasury system. And he was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And he tried to twist his arm. And he was like, look, you can say it all you want. You don't have any legal authority to do this. I'm not letting you do it. Right? And so basically they said he resigned. But in reality, he was probably fired. He was fired by Trump. And so he was taken out of there. And then Elon illegally hacks the system. You have the new Treasury Secretary who's saying, oh, I'm granting him access. That's great. You don't have authority to do that either. You don't. You don't. We know the way it works. We know who has the power of the purse. We know the system. We know the process. It's all illegal. Right? But to answer the question, what do? You do fucking anything and everything you can to stop this. So, there was the video the other day of Maxwell Frost and Maxine Waters and others who are standing outside of, I believe it was the Department of Education at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. It may have been the Treasury. And they were trying to get in. And there was somebody blocking them. Somebody who clearly works for Elon. Right? And then the dude wouldn't let him in, and they recorded it and everything and put it out there. Bro, that's when you say, hey, dog, we got 30 people with us. We're just going to stampede in if you don't get the fuck out of the way. Right? If you got to get in there, if you have to have a sit-in at the fucking Treasury to block these people from doing what they want to do, then have a fucking sit-in at the Treasury. No problem whatsoever. Do that. Get every Democratic lawmaker you can. Say, look, you want to arrest us? You're going to have to fucking arrest us all. Go ahead. Arrest 100 Democratic lawmakers who are just trying to uphold the law and prevent you from illegally accessing the computers at the Treasury or at the Education Department. Go to the CFPB office, same fucking thing. And also, as I pointed out the other day, you got to get muscle on your side. You got to get some police officers on your side. You got to pick off a few generals. Because this is where we're at. This is where we're at. If they're insistent on violating the Constitution, right, then we call them out for it and demand, okay, if you want to go that far, you got to go all the way, bitch. Go ahead. Arrest every single Democratic lawmaker. Let's see how that goes. Right? This is where you got to call the bluff. This is where you got to step up. This is not the go along to get along. Oh, they're doing it, so it must be legal. Oh, look, a judge said it's illegal, but if they keep doing it, I guess it's technically legal because the president said it's okay. No. We're not playing this game anymore. This was the Bush era, right? During the Bush era, every illegal thing George W. Bush did, Abu Ghraib, Guantanamo Bay, torture, all that stuff. It was just like, there would be rationalization after the fact. Oh, I guess it's kind of legal, but no. We're not doing that. We're not sitting around. We're not doing that. We're fighting every step of the way by any means necessary.
You have to be resistant and be walked out by security. And then security doesn't know which one to listen to, right? Essentially.
I'd like to see all, whatever it is, 48 or 49 U.S. senators and any Republicans that want to join. I'd like to see a couple hundred members of Congress go to the fucking building where this is and demand to go in and physically stop this and let them arrest you.
That's exactly what I just floated. Except I said with Congress people, he's saying it was senators. The senators are bigger bitches in my estimation, other than, of course, like Bernie Sanders and maybe Elizabeth Warren and maybe a handful of others. But he's right. Like, this is where we're at. If they're not stopping, even though now courts have ordered them to stop, if they're not stopping, you have to make them stop. You have to make them. It's that simple, right? And so, and also media, wakey. Again, we can't play this game anymore. We can't normalize this just destruction of our laws and the Constitution, normalize this tech authoritarian coup, and describe both sides' language as we talk about this. For this country to survive, false equivalence and both sidesism needs to be thrown in the trash, and that trash can needs to be lit on fire, okay? It's that simple. Like, this is where we are, man, and everybody's got to wake up to the moment. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.